following podcast contains possibly triggering material and strong language. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the Ride the Rebellion podcast and Craft Show Digital. The material and information presented here is for general information and entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back to I'm so used to like, what's up? But the music's not there anymore, so it's not the same. It's the Ride Rebellion podcast, the podcast that sometimes talks about mountain bikes and other times, most of the times, talks about other stuff. There's a trigger warning at the beginning of this. It's been a week. With me, as always, is the king of the South Alabama. I got the wrong thing in my lap here. Is the king of the South Alabama Turndown this week. Gets that title back because I watched him jump over a gap that should have killed him. Dale Boyd of Fuck It, It's a Gap.
It did almost kill me.
What did we call that? What was the chive reference?
Mind the Gap.
Mind the Gap.
If you get the chive reference, then you're maybe from the college humor days.
You're probably old.
You are old, and you are listening to this.
Yeah, well, if it's the demo.
That's right.
What a week it's been. So this episode, we decided to do something a little bit different. We asked the audience to throw us some questions. And so we're going to go over those questions. But because this episode might have some mountain biking references, we'd like to welcome back our sponsors. Just in case you forgot, I'd like to shout out if you need some mountain bike training and you need to learn how to ride better. Some might even say shred better. Isn't that a Pearl Jam song, Ledbetter? Anyway,
I don't know.
You can head on over to summitbikeacademy.com where you can shred with Summit.
Hey, Toby's got some awesome stuff coming up, by the way.
Yes,
he shared some with me. You guys follow Shred with Summit for all of the different flyers and stuff he's putting out. There's so much cool shit that he does, and I'm actually jealous that it's not closer. And I apologize because I can't make to all of them.
No joke. It's a legitimate scenario. So if you haven't checked it out, great place to learn to ride. Also, they're not technically a sponsor, but the question's going to come about some favorite trails. We've seen some of the questions, folks. And I'm not going to say that these aren't favorite trails. I just really enjoy riding there. I end up having a really good time on the way up because it's a long drive, and I have a good time when we're riding there. And then I have a good time getting pickle pizza, which sounds sexual in nature.
If you ED'd it, if you pickle pizzaed. If you get pickle pizzaed.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That sounds sexual.
Yeah, you put an ED, erectile dysfunction, on the end of it.
No.
I'm very Mark Norman today.
Well, that's not so bad.
No.
This could go good. Hey, we did interview a comedian last episode, and if you haven't checked that out, please do.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most funniest episodes.
Oh, yeah, we had a blast. Yeah. And if you don't, even though it's a comedian, he talks nothing about bikes. We are humans. Like, we live lives off our bikes.
We majority off our bikes.
Yeah, go ahead and finish where you were going with
I was just going to go as Experience Rusty.
Yeah, there you go.
If you haven't been up there, though, they're not even a sponsor anymore, but they're good people. Obviously, if you need a tattoo, we always say go to Kevin Black and Man of War Tattoos.
Yeah, we might have Black on here soon, I think.
Yeah, Blackie. That'd be good.
Schedules. We'll get it worked out.
Yep, that's his Instagram name before all you try to cancel me. Also, Run and Try, Aaron. We're going to bring him on at some point. He'll get his own commercial. We'll make him make his own commercial. That's how we're going to open that episode, I've decided.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Straight pitch.
He was a DJ at one time. Maybe we could get him on that.
Oh, my Lord.
It's not the podcast isn't going to be about running either because no one actually cares.
No.
It's like no one cares how far you ran today. No one cares what you ate. Just shut up and get drunk like the rest of us.
People run to drink.
That's right. Actually, most runners do.
No,
they get drunk
drink a
after.
lot. Yeah, that's the secret. Am I missing anybody else? Oh, well, we got Build, Tune, Ride, folks. Can't even forget about Build, Tune, Ride. Jody, who doesn't return my phone calls. See, I can shout you out of the pockets. Here's the danger, Jody.
You've set it up.
Jody, in a world where you don't return my calls. I'm just kidding. Build, Tune, Ride's fantastic. I still need to take my bike up there. Hell, I need to ride up there.
Hey, they had some big news drop.
Go ahead.
One of their riders, Grayson, which is a great kid, awesome kid. He's every time you go up to the stockyard, you're going to see Grayson, and he's going to ride way better than you ever will.
Yep.
Is a Mondraker ambassador now, which is essentially their sponsorship program, which is pretty freaking sweet. So,
they put out a video. Who put out that video?
Mondraker did. Mondraker USA.
So Mondraker puts out a video about a boy that rides at BTR, and all I'm saying is,
yeah,
They didn't even know who they were until this podcast came out.
Right.
I'm talking about Pete Mondraker.
Yeah, Mondraker had no clue who BTR was at all. Jody did no legwork in that. He didn't hustle to get that their bikes in the shop. But it also brings me to his question. I'll go ahead and throw it out there while we'll just flow with it. He was saying that they go to a lot of races all over the place, and they get a lot of kids on podiums or guys on podiums, adults on podiums, people on podiums that ride for BTR, and everybody's always like,
Pops,
where do you guys train? Like, where do you guys practice? And his whole thing is like, how do we, and most of us listening to this are in the Southeast, how do we shed light on the Southeast being a place that people actually rip? And honestly, our podcast has done somewhat of that.
Yeah.
To be honest,
sure.
we've got some attention from people that are like, wait, you guys ride bikes and down there? So I think it's just beating the drum, Jody. Honestly, that's my opinion. Like, you just have to continue to do it. And you guys traveling to ride places and doing like the Enduro Southeast and things like that, I think you're doing. But if you're doing all those kind of stuff, you're doing it already. You're spreading the awareness. And places like BTR or the Stockyard, I guess, and places like what Chase is doing at Oak Mountain and Tannehill and what they're doing at Coldwater, those already had credibility as mountain bike places, but now the amount of money and attention they're getting from media is just going to exponentialize it. And you guys might have enjoyed it for a while, being your place, but
Not
be
for long.
prepared to have an onslaught of traffic, especially at Oak Mountain. If you enjoyed riding nice empty trails, it's not going to be for long. And I know they weren't empty. Don't get me wrong. Don't get mad.
But they're big enough that you don't see everybody.
Right. No, but some of those flow trails or gravity trails are about to be inundated.
Right.
Whatever. They're about to have a bunch of new people on there with ozones, just blowing them up.
Lord, I just was going to say, I to answer Jody's side of that, I would, in all honesty, if you think about it, up north the Yankees have polenta, and down here we have grits, but we also have more grit. I think there's something interesting about the term grits. I'm not being silly. I'm being straight up. If you live in the South, I run into it with my professional film career. Like, people would be like, "Oh, you made a real movie and you're from Alabama?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh yeah, I had to stop sleeping with the pig." Then I came up here. I got in my uncle's truck and we drove all the way over. That's more of a Tennessee accent.
Yeah.
That's not an Alabama.
Well, it wouldn't have been a pig in
Ours
Tennessee.
was more slow and dumb. Anyway, point being is that we do have grit. The reality of it is most the people in the Southeast do have grit, because a lot of times we are looked down upon as being, granted, our history might not be the best, but we're not part of that. Right. Mm-hmm. So the reality of it is, I think the grit side of things, and it's proof positive if you look at what Chase has done, if you look at what Jody does, if you look at what the other Chase has done, if you look at what any of these guys, even the gang at Ride Beham, all of that took grit to make it happen. And I think that's the only way. Here's the downside. You can use that grit always as motivation. The downside is you'll probably never get the recognition you deserve, ever. Mm-hmm. But if you just learn to not give a fuck and say, I'm buying in on the grit, then that's going to be fuel forever. And a kid like Grayson, he does go out there, he crushes it. He may or may not ever come back here. One day he gets moved away. He goes and lives in the Pacific Northwest. Doesn't want to say he's from Alabama because it's not embarrassing, but it happens a lot. Yeah. But then one day he'll come back. And when he does, he'll bring all of that history and all that grit with him, and he'll train the next generation. The truth of it is, it's not that there's nothing to be embarrassed of here. The outside world has a bad opinion, but we know what it takes to get it done. If you look at it, most people that ride here or do stuff here that find some level of success, they do it in a way that's so high level and so multifaceted. It's not like it's just one thing. It's like multiple stuff. So yeah, I think it's just grit.
Well, that also says something about Mondraker to take a chance on a dude like Jody to represent the company 100%. And sell their bikes, and a kid like Grayson that's relatively unknown in the race series. I mean, locally we all know he's rad and rips, but
it's a good gamble too, though. You pop that kid and he's from Alabama, and suddenly, oh man,
so he has to wear bibs, overalls everywhere he shows up to ride. And that'd be funny. Just have a whole persona, Grayson. Just do it.
Yeah, just own it, Bo. Yeah. Just go. Yeah, so there you go. That's our first question tied to a sponsor. We'll just jump into the rest of the questions. I'm going to hit up the Facebook questions. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We have a monitor.
Yeah, well, you can either do that, or we can just kind of like recap what we've been doing for the last month and save the questions to keep them waiting.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, some people have asked, like obviously off the air or to my face, there's a lot of people that didn't listen to the podcast because it was only mountain bike. We have some people that are jumping in now that are like, hey, wait, you guys are talking about other stuff,
Right.
mental health or men's health, because we are clearly men that can talk about health.
Identify as such this week.
So that's
That's
been
right.
brought up. That's right. Oh gosh, you are Mark Norman today. So we've had that conversation. We've had, we had Emily on, and she talked about overall health, some women's
Yep.
health, and things like that. So Drew and I are trying to learn stuff. I don't know if you know. We're trying to expand. We really don't know shit about bikes or mountain biking. We were making it up, and for 3 years we made a lot of shit up. So if you took everything that we said for the last 3 years and trusted it, we got some stuff to sell you.
There's a temptation for me to troll so hard, but I'm just gonna be quiet. I don't want to Mark Norman right now.
Okay, yeah, I think I know where you're going with it, but
of course.
So we talked about it earlier. I don't know, about just kind of recapping, like, we talked about our personal struggles or our personal battles through life, or things that we overcame. Maybe we made them bigger than they were because it was our biggest thing that happened to us at the time.
I don't think that's fair to say. I think it's bigger to you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Big to each other. Yeah.
But other people, I mean, we had somebody reach out that had no relationship to the podcast in mountain biking and saw a clip and talked about her dad. I've talked about that before. I talked about it with Peyton, but like, hey man, telling people that stuff helps. And either way, right. Even if it's just a moment of inspiration, you never know. That's the up and down of the internet. Is that like what we say here? It first off lives forever, so own the fuck out of it, right? Just like those F-bombs this week. But the other side of it too is like you've also got to consider that you don't know how that's going to affect someone, good or bad.
Right.
I mean, there's obviously people that are still mad at me about some comments I've made. I stand behind those comments firmly rooted into the ground. I'm just kidding.
It was during an election campaign, so the elections get dirty.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, those are basically like tariffs. God.
Jesus,
he's back.
He's back.
Anyway, so I do think, but I'm with you. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Please continue.
No, so I mean, that was it. Things like that. We introduced the soft member that other people may or may not have known. We wanted to. The reasoning behind that, and we might have said it was, we want you all in the internets to understand that he is a real person.
Yeah,
and he's passionate about what he does. He doesn't do things maliciously, sometimes maliciously, but not always 50%. Intentionally maliciously.
Right.
It turns out maliciously, and then the forest gets burnt down, and I have to plant trees.
But I'm with you. And the other side of him being on here is for anybody that's outside of that, like, you can't get shit done by yourself. You've got to have people in play, and you need a variety of people. They're all everybody brings something unique to the table, perspective, voice, whatever it is. And the soft member absolutely brings a unique perspective, voice, and skill set, unique set of skills to the table.
That's right.
But he really does bring something different. And if we don't have that stuff, then you actually you don't progress as much as you want to. It's kind of like if you only ride the same trail over and over again, you're going to find something down the road of life where you're not going to be able to handle that situation. It doesn't mean you got to go for the 20-foot gap jump over a hole that could kill you
without a jump,
but you could, right? Or at least you could film it.
Yeah.
So it's more a matter of like, at least being there to understanding that, like, bringing somebody like him on does provide value outside of our own group. Yes. He's part of our IMBA, SORBA, whatever the hell we are now, chapter. But that same thing applies across the board if you're trying to get anything done. It's the same thing like Chase, all those jokes about Grumpy Cat Jace. If you think about it, though, that dude, we make jokes, we make laughs, but we respect the shit out of the guy because he's done things that nobody's ever done. Like, he is doing, that guy is making moves, and he's not an overly douchey bag of douche about it. Like, he's actually pretty
douchey, but not overly douchey.
Yeah, that's correct. He's only 50%.
Yeah, which is fine. If you're getting stuff done, we can overlook the 50.
Hell yeah. No, he's crushing it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And Emily was great. There's things that I know Emily better than you do, but I mean, it was awesome to have her on and her perspective on things, because obviously there was things that she talked about that we had no clue about. Right. Yeah. Or I didn't.
And completely different perspective.
Yeah, a different perspective. It's not so much of a locker room perspective that we bring every week. And then Peyton, dude. So Peyton was probably one of my favorite episodes we've ever done.
Yep.
Not because he's funny, but because he's been to the top, and he's humbly, like, just chilling. Like, he doesn't even care,
Yeah.
He's happy doing what he wants, what he's doing. I could see that he loves comedy, and I could see, like, maybe he's like so it's like a drug, right? Like
Yeah.
being on
Oh,
stage
yeah.
is probably a drug for him. So like dabbling in the open mic stuff is probably a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's
Just
it's interesting because he's you get this mix of artist and crafts person at the same time,
mhm.
because he's an artist when he performs, but he's crafting the work to get there. So it's, to me, it was fascinating because it's I've never heard anyone talk so open and intimate about the comedy side. uh Certainly, like, even on Rogan, all they're doing is talking about how great somebody is, or
Yeah,
their
yeah,
buddy, and they're name dropping, and he didn't, we had to pull that stuff out of him,
right.
which is further attest to it. And he's genuinely funny, and he's very clever, and then there's like an emotional hook to him that I think is very fascinating as well. So I don't know, good episode.
Yeah, so that's just a small like I've had to explain it off the air, so I wanted to explain it on the air why we're doing this. We're doing this for everyone that listens to grow, like bike stuff, it gets old really quick to me anyways. I mean, we can talk about our trail forever and it's great. It's the greatest trail ever.
It's great. It's
It's
the
pretty
greatest
much the
trail.
greatest. We built a wall around it.
We have tariffs. Got to pay $200 to ride there.
You do both, yes.
Yeah, it's all real. We do have a wall.
We
Right,
have
I
a wall.
forgot.
We
Yeah.
built a wall around
Yep.
it.
Closed
So
our
yeah,
borders.
it is it's something that we talk about a lot, Drew and I, trying to find entertaining guests that are also somebody that we want to talk to.
Yeah.
There's people that we know that are awesome people, but we don't know that they'd be great to talk to on air for an hour or
Yeah,
longer.
I don't know. I mean, there's some random ones like,
Yeah, we have some super random.
yeah, I
on
mean,
the list.
I have a creative coach. We talked about him. That guy specializes, and he helps me with my business. He's a leadership coach, but for creatives. But he has a great section talking about motivation that's really interesting from a building a structure for yourself.
Yeah.
He's also like opposite end of the world, a poet, and he has a poetry podcast. But his approach to poetry is the equivalent of Dale's approach to basketball. I mean, it's a sport in a way to him, of understanding and interpreting. It's not just the art, it's the crafting of it.
Mhm.
So to me, there's fascination in that. You get benefits on both sides. There's, if random people, like if Paige from Helmet decides to, I've asked him if he decides one day to come on, then you have like a literal legitimate rock star that pops onto the show to talk about music. Who knows what he's going to talk about? He's the most wild cannon I could ever think of, but he exists. And then you have other ends where there's a local bike mechanic that I think is really interesting to talk to, because his history of and knowledge of biking is fascinating. It's more about just having conversations and not just getting. It is kind of, in a way, if I think this, and now that I'm saying this out loud, it may be a little bit like Rogan in this way.
Yeah.
If you think about Rogan's core is whatever he wants to talk about, but then he still has comics on. He
Mhm.
still has an MMA segment,
Yeah.
and he has Protect Our Parks, which is, I guess, still comics. So he has two kind of regular
Mhm.
gimmicks that show up from time to time, and in between that, you get all kinds of random shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of more where we're going with, is like, hey, we want to talk about all the weird stuff we talk about at Trailhead, but also here's some bike stuff. So like this episode is going to feel more bikey once we get into the questions, because it's bike questions. That's great. That's good.
Yeah, our friends are all bike people. That's
They're
what we find
bikers.
out.
There's no doubt.
That's
That's
right.
bike.
That's bike.
Oh,
my
we
God.
got one in there. All right, so we'll bang out some of these. Let's see what we got here. We had to blow the screen up massively huge so we could read the text, by the way, because the old man has happened. This comes from B.A. Lange.
It's Brian. I think.
I'm going with B.A.
Okay, BA.
B.A. Baracus is from the A team.
All right.
When are you coming to Florida to ride with the Airborne crew? Thursday. It'll be a Thursday.
It'll be a Thursday. That's a good idea. Yeah, it's hard to. So we get asked a lot. Honestly, our friends don't believe this, but we do get asked to go to a lot of places a lot of times, and we really have tight schedules. Like It's hard. It's really hard for us to get away. As much as we'd love to come every weekend to a different place, it's so difficult for us.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to get this to get a time to record.
And in real world, we're recording this the day before the podcast comes out because of schedule.
Yeah, we try to get
I have
some
to go
people
edit
on
tonight.
Yeah, we try to get some people on, and it didn't work out. So we're just doing some stuff, guys. So we hope to come as soon as possible, and we will sleep on your yard if we have to.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. We're gonna figure it out. Vic, God, I miss you, dude.
I know, I miss you too.
Vic's just a quality human being, and he moved away, having fun on a motor scooter. Vic asked, what all does the initiation ritual involve? Look, man, there's been multiple over the years, but the one is, it revolves. Oh, this is an interesting stat. It actually revolves Todd Golf and a cell phone.
It does.
And that's all I'll say about that part.
And if you know about it, then you know about it.
Yeah,
Then you've
and
been
that's it.
initiated.
And that's it. And if you know about that, and he's going to be mad as hell that I said that.
No, he's not. Because it is now.
I mean, it has become kind of a thing.
It does. Yes.
Yeah, so that exists. So just FYI.
And the branding. I mean, everybody's got a brand on their arm.
Yeah, we all have a brand.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't see it. It's really small.
Yeah.
Use really small stuff. Joe asked, plans for this year. That's Jennifer's Joe, yeah?
Yeah. That's Jennifer's Joe.
Step 1, checking on your wife.
Yeah, make sure
her shoulders okay. That's step 1. Any trips for y'all? No, your wife took all the trips on the trail for us. Hey, the zings. Just kidding.
That's crash.
Any trip. Rides, races, bike fest. Will Jagrundy be happening? This is a loaded question, multi-question. Any trips for y'all? Yes, I'm taking my family to Disney World.
Oh, they better not be listening.
They know.
Oh, they know. I didn't know if it was
we gave it to them at Christmas.
Okay.
My kids literally were like, "Cool." Actually, Finley goes. She's Chad from Saturday Night Live. She's like, "Okay,
okay,
shut up."
I'm going to Bump and Grind. I do know that.
Yeah.
I will be at Bogue for the grand opening of Cortez Coaster in May 5th, I think, 4th or 5th.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, there you go. Other stuff. I'll be at Skyway in April, the beginning of April, April 5th. I'll be at Skyway for that. All the other trips are kind of whatever happens. Yeah. We don't plan. You guys, Joe, you text me and asked me if I was going, and he got his campsite already. And I was like, bro, what? Like, I don't even know. Yeah,
Joe's
I'm going,
boy.
But I'm not that. I don't have that ability to make those plans.
I won't ever have it again. It's just business wise. I don't have that choice. While owning a business is supposedly freedom, it is the greatest shackle and chain next to my wife I've ever had. Mm-hmm. So it's just tough for me with the stuff I have going on. So
and Jagrundy, Jody can answer that. I don't know. I hope Jody. So, because that was fun. We had a blast.
Yeah, pop it up in the comments. Yeah. This comes from Mango Tango.
Mm-hmm. We know who it is.
How exactly does Posi Track reared in a Plymouth work? Well, I can tell you it's the distribution.
He didn't spell it right. It's a Posi Track rear end. Reared.
I figured that's what he meant.
I just thought he meant Posi Track was getting born in the back of a Plymouth, and the way he typed it.
Oh, that's fair.
It just does. I don't know.
Yeah, so it equally distributes the power from. So what it does is it pulls 70% from the powertrain and applies it to the rear wheel.
Isn't this a My Cousin Vinny? This is a My Cousin Vinny thing, I think.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. It's about 70% of the power.
It's plum crazy purple, Pat.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Chase asked, how many Wade Boggs? 3.
Yeah, Wade Boggs. We're not even answering that.
Dream trails to visit. Top 10 favorite trails. Getting in. Okay, this is beefy.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Annalie Keener just giving us the old beefy question here. Dream trails to visit. We'll pick one. Yeah, I'm going to say whole enchilada for me.
I'm probably going to just say North Carolina as a whole. I don't know one trail there.
Pisgah?
I just want to go over there.
Okay.
I like North Carolina as a state. So.
All right. Top 10 favorite trails. I can't give you top 10.
No,
how about favorite trail Southeast?
Oh, probably Tails.
Yeah, you're a big fan of that trail.
I like that trail because it's kind of my style. It's tight, technical.
Yeah.
I do really like Goldilocks at Coldwater though.
Oh, I've not ridden that. I've only ridden Bomb Dog. I've ridden stuff.
Goldilocks at pace with Chase and the boys from Birmingham was the first time and only time I've ridden it. So maybe it's different when you're going Mach 70.
Fair enough.
It was awesome. I really liked it.
There's some stuff in Chattanooga, and I don't remember Mojo Nixon or something, and it's not Enterprise. I can't remember the name of the trail system up there. It's over by White Oak. No, Cloudland's 5 points. This is over by White Oak. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. People would know. If you look it up, it's over by White Oak, not far from there. And you have to like park your truck or vehicle and then ride your bike up to it. It's a real pain in the ass. I think it begins with a J. I just can't remember the name of it. But one of the trails I think is like Mojo Nixon or Mojo or something. And it's super fun. I really enjoyed it. Part of its memory. I think half the time when you look for a favorite trail, you just did it. It was with the boys at Pace. You literally said you like Goldilocks with the boys at Pigs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I have the same thing about that trail system. I rode it with Worley and Mr. Pickles,
Yeah, it was the
and then rode it
experience.
again by myself. And so because it was enjoyable, but I
Mhm.
remember those guys, like, so they're part of that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hammer all these because she stacked them with a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff. Trail maintenance tools and ways to learn more about trail building in your region. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. That's the way I think. Same thing.
Yeah.
Because we don't, you can't.
Don't destroy anybody's trails, but just
No,
get permission and go do it.
what we've learned, Pat and I have both discussed this. You cannot Google how to build trails on pure sand.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you just have to do it and learn.
Even if you Google how to build trails, it doesn't work. Yeah, that doesn't work either. Geoff Betts. Hi, Jeff. When are y'all coming back to Austin so we can hit Spider Mountain? Yeah, soon. I wish, dude. I love Austin. I love that area. I had a blast. I would like to go to Spider Mountain. Yes, Jeff. We'll figure that out.
I've only been west of the Mississippi one time with you. So,
and it was to Ruston, Louisiana.
Home of Experience Ruston.
Make home at Ruston. Yeah, we need to get over that way. If I can get a client out there, then me and Dale have a real big excuse to
there you go, Jeff. Get us a client.
Favorite trail in Alabama and favorite trail in the U.S.
Yeah, I think we just answered that.
Yeah, we kind of covered that. I think
and
that's
Alabama.
pretty solid. Because favorite trail in the U.S. I mean, I'm going to say outside of what I said, whatever the name of the trail was I rode in Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I get to look. I can flex.
There you go. You've been to Phoenix.
I'm flexing on the Phoenix.
Phoenix
All right,
is on fire.
That's those. Dale has more questions. I'll let
Shane will be on the podcast someday.
Yes,
Richardson. That was the next question we skipped because it gets asked 1,000 times.
Yeah, Shane will be on here.
He will be on here. Don't worry.
It's going to end up talking. The problem is Shane and I both identified a bunch of shit as business owners, and it's going to end up as a bit. It's not going to talk about bikes. It's going to be a business-based conversation.
That's fine. I'll tell you guys. Great. I'll talk about how to retire early.
Mary Nurse, boys.
I got this. I got some questions. They're on my Facebook. I'm just going to look at my phone and read them directly. I have them written down too, so for other questions. But we did get, I'm just going to shout the people out that asked questions because they took time. I'm going to say them, but some of the questions are repetitive, so we don't need to answer them again. But Tanner Stoll gave us a question. It was his favorite trail list and dream riding destination. So we answered.
I actually would rather him to answer that.
I know. We'll have him on to answer that. Yeah. How about that?
If you guys don't know who he is, look him up.
Yeah, he is a rad dude. Built some awesome stuff.
Dude.
So the next question, this is actually funny. Casey Stewart, one of our local dudes, Reb member.
Oh yeah, he's welcome.
I think we all want to know who would win the Jank Fest race: Dale on a beach cruiser or Kevin Black on a kid's bike with training wheels.
Ooh, that's actually a great question. It's going to be Dale on the beach cruiser, and here's why: because his legs are 7,000 feet long.
No, I feel like he took that into account. He took that into account because he knew that I couldn't fit on a kid's bike.
Oh, I feel like Kevin's on the beach cruiser.
No. I'm on the beach cruiser, but he knew if I put Dale on a kid's bike, it wouldn't work.
Because Kevin wouldn't even touch a beach cruiser because he wouldn't look cool.
Oh.
If he's on a kid's bike, it's ironically cool, right? He's like, I'm Kevin Black. I'm covered in tattoos.
I don't know, but
like a Japanese assassin.
That might be a funny race.
Oh, I'd love it.
That sounds terrible.
Great question, Casey.
All right. This is actually a funny question from Aaron Friesmeyer. If Michael Jackson was still alive, would he have released a Billboard Top 10 by the year 2025?
Oh, that's a great debate.
I think so. Here's because I had already seen it. I'll let you think about it. I think so because the popularity of guys like Bruno Mars and Pharrell and those guys in that similar genre have exploded pop music a little bit.
Yeah.
To where I think that he was really popular, obviously, but I think that he could have been still the king, above all those guys.
So follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
How white would he be at this point?
Oh my gosh.
Would he have made the full conversion to a cracker?
He would get Antonio Brown's Cracker of the Year award. I don't know.
I mean, that guy went through a lot of crazy stuff. Anyway,
yeah, I think that was a lot of childhood trauma.
Oh, 100%. But he also had I think he had a variety of different skin issues. So
well, and there was something about
issues. I'm just saying
chemical castration.
Pale. What?
Yeah, you've never heard this? So they're saying that his dad had him chemically castrated when he was young so he could keep the high pitch.
That's
singing
not.
voice.
There's no.
Google it.
I can't.
Google it, J-Mo.
There it is. That's a good. I would actually say yes, but it would have been a collab, so you would have seen him
yeah, that's
with
probably true.
somebody else. Because
Beyonce or something.
regardless of all the weird stuff of, obviously there's a lot of allegations of nasty shit that he allegedly did. That dude was talented, and there's no doubt about it. Not just dancing, like his voice was interesting. Like it's good and it's iconic, right? At least to a generation that drank Pepsi and wanted to light their hair on fire.
And watched Free Willy.
Is he in that?
No, the song is, right?
I don't know. I've never seen Free Willy.
Stop.
Dude, I don't need to see a whale jump over a kid.
Isn't that the song that's It's the song that's playing when the whale jumps over the kid.
Black and white?
I don't know.
That would have made more sense.
I don't think it's
Because
that
whales
song.
are black and white.
It's not that
Doesn't
song.
matter if you're black or white.
And then it twists and it's all black, and then it twists back, it's all white.
Like a cookie.
That's not the Free
And
Willy I
canceled.
watched. Free Willy.
Free. Yeah.
All right. Moving on from Michael Jackson. That was a good question. I like that.
That was a great
Spin it
question. I
off.
love that kind of stuff.
That's probably because that's some of the shit he thinks about when he's like by himself. He's like
Running?
running. Yeah, it's a running thought for sure. All right, the next one's from Emily, former guest. If you had the means to fly anywhere in the world to ride, where would it be? So not a favorite trail, but where would you fly to ride? I've always wanted to go to Greece. I don't even care if there's mountain bike trails there, but I'm sure there is. So Greece.
Dale talks about Greece a lot more than people realize.
Not
people
the
need to
movie
understand
Greece.
how much when we talk about stuff, it has come up multiple times about going. And we met. Somebody we were talking to went there, or was it?
Somebody was from there, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've lost.
It popped up.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't your buddy go?
Well, the thought was I was going to sell everything I own and just go open up a bookstore on the side of a cliff in Greece. I don't even know why if that's a thing in Greece, but it seems like it was going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even like books or stores.
You think a lot of people slip there
off the cliff
because it's Greece?
I walked.
So some jokes can be PG.
Yeah,
you just choose not to.
That was a terrible one.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's open mic night here in the office.
I'm in Peyton's seat.
You are.
I would say. Oh man, Leo Gang.
No, Leo Gang.
That's just something I've always wanted to do. I mean, I'd love to be able to just the scenery, the town that's there. I think all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that would be the one. Just the whole experience of getting there, I think, is because if I'm not mistaken, that one requires the most travel. So I think the adventure of getting there makes it 10 times cooler. Yeah. That's a great question.
That's a good question.
I'd like to know what hers would be for running.
Oh yeah,
because I mean she runs like weird
ultras.
Yeah,
that's cool. All right, the other one I have is from Allison, and she is actually a podcast host as well, a running podcast. If you could be on any other podcast, what would it be and why? And you can't say "Run Your Story" podcast because that's hers.
Shameless plug. Well done.
That was a good one.
That was a good plug.
I think that because I've just been a fanboy for so long, it's got to be Rogan or Sean Ryan. But I'm not interesting enough for Sean Ryan, or Rogan for that matter. I don't know if I could carry a 3-hour conversation.
What would you do on Sean Ryan's podcast when he's had like Delta Force and SEAL Team 6? I don't think like Deal Boy.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey guys, listen. I played BB gun wars in the woods when I was growing up.
The average Sean Ryan podcast is 3 hours. Yours is 3 minutes. You just get some gummy bears.
That's all I was on there for because they're sold out on the website all the time. Like
no gummy bears.
I don't have Sean. The story I gave you to get on the podcast is all made up. It's bullshit.
It's stolen valor.
I just want the gummy bears.
I just want you stolen valor to get gummy bears from the Sean Ryan podcast.
I've never been in the same room as a Navy SEAL.
That needs to be a clip. Because that'll just get us canceled so fast, and maybe Sean Ryan will send us some gummy bears.
Yeah, finally.
I don't know if stolen valor's funny to guys that actually have valor.
No, because listen, how pissed are we when people like steal mountain bike valor? Like, dude, you're such a poser. Shut the fuck up.
That's true.
So, can you imagine if your life was on the line, that you did something to defend the honor of those people that are? I understand stolen valor big time. I would never step on them toes.
Well, to answer your question about the podcast, I am on another podcast, and it's
shameless.
A 90s movie and music podcast. In fact, it's a weird podcast. My buddy has a steel trap memory, and he literally knows every movie that we saw together. So I've known this guy for, I don't know, 30 years. And so we're going literally in chronological order. We just covered Kurt Cobain's death and the impact it had on us. and he remembers a lot of this stuff. There's tons of stories about me getting grounded for having pornography, all kinds of random. I told my mom their Nintendo maps. If you don't believe me, episode 1's pretty.
It is an
punchy.
entertaining podcast, honestly. I listen to it outside of here, not because Drew, I mean, I don't give a shit about his stories, but I listen to it because it is entertaining, and it brings up a lot of things that you forgot about movie wise, like you personally, not you, but like things that we've forgotten about, or like times like, oh damn, I remember that. But I don't understand how Tony remembers every single movie he saw. I don't remember a single movie I saw in the theater, literally.
And he knows it, and he knows who he saw it with.
That's
it's
crazy.
interesting. It's called Back for Our Future, not Back to the Future. Back for Our Future. If again, shamelessly, if you want to hear another side of it, you can hear a discussion about that side of it's my history. Like it's crazy.
Mhm.
So in some ways, I get to record my own past. We just had a story on about a private investigator who was hired to follow us around, who took pictures of us. I was just smoking ciggies, but other dudes were smoking left-handed cigarettes in the woods, gave it to the kids' moms, and we all got grounded.
Oh my goodness.
Right before Smashing Pumpkins concert.
I'm so glad I'm poor and my parents couldn't afford private investigators.
It wasn't my parents. It was some other girl's parents. Anyway, that's the kind of random crap. So there you go.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're moving on. Good question, Allison. Thank you.
That was great.
So this is back to biking a little bit. Gabe asked this question. When you ride a new feature and you're out of your comfort zone, how do you overcome that fear? I think that we all look for this, though.
I want to hear what your actual the bullshit that's about to come out of your mouth. Go ahead. Here we go, folks.
You've watched it a few times. Huh?
Zoom in on his face. I wish I could zoom in and enhance.
I don't have a fear of new features generally. If there's something that I'm not going to do, I just don't say I just say I'm not going to do it. If it's something that I'm going to do, I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't sit and think about it. I just do it, because if I think about it, or if I run
Every
up to
time
it,
you said that, I wish I had Shia LaBeouf.
Think about it.
No, just do it.
Just do it.
He does
yeah.
the flexes.
But the longer you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it.
Yep.
I don't like to get pulled into things. I like to do it myself first. I trust my skill set over other people's. There's things that people say I can do that I don't want to do, and I just won't do it.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like, "Oh, dude, you could do that," and it's funny because I do that to other people, and they're telling me like, "Dude, it's not that easy." And I agree. Like if somebody does it to me, I'm like, "Dude, shut up! I'm not doing that."
There's a whole episode of that. It was called Walk the Rebellion.
Yeah, really, Walk the Rebellion.
Yeah, it's a whole episode talking about it.
Yeah. So, how do I out of a comfort zone? Honestly, I try to put myself out of my comfort zone every time I'm on my bike, because that's what I look for. The adrenaline is what I'm looking for. On Sunday, you were there. That adrenaline rush was awesome. Like, and I could have stopped shaking. It was good. And it wasn't, I mean, it was high consequence. But I didn't die. I almost die. I did almost die. But
could have been bad.
But it was cool, and I look for that kind of stuff. And having a place that we can do that here makes it even better.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's risk adverse.
Yeah. Well, the reason why is because my career is extremely risky. Yeah. Like I risk millions of dollars. I don't want to risk. And if I'm too injured, it's just not like, to be honest with you, I do a risk evaluation of something and say, am I going to do it? So there's a there's a gap jump those guys built. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not hitting that. And then I hit it. Not the big one, obviously. That's not for me. But it was just at the top, Jakey Poo gap jump. And I was like, because it looks pretty rough. And it's high consequence. If you fuck up, it's not going to go well because that wood's going to hurt. But now it's like I don't think about it. It's the same way the primal gap. I remember the primal gap being there. Like, could we have a... Now I don't even think about it. It just happens. So I think you just grow into those spots, and I think you identify what you're willing to do. The dumbness to me is the prototypical male bullshit of like, come on, what are you, a P word? And to me, it doesn't affect me because I frankly don't give two shits. I'm going to ride what I feel like is safe for me to ride and go do it. So I think it's balance, dude. I think if you're really asking that question, you have to look for balance. And Dale's essentially saying the same thing. His is very quick. Mine is, I look at it, get to that point, and then just make the decision, evaluate what's the positive, what's the negative, make a decision.
Right. That's why I think I like enduro racing and stuff, because you don't have time to think about it. Like if you're racing, you're doing it.
Right.
Like you're not, there's no like, oh, I got to think about that feature. Like you're just doing it. And a lot of times it's easier to do when you do it like that.
Yeah.
Than think about it.
Yeah. I think, again, just perspective.
Hey, that's a good question though, because I think a lot of things that pertains to a lot of stuff. Like it could pertain to a jump, or it could pertain to a longer ride, or it could pertain to anything that's
a business decision.
Yeah, anything you do. you can either fail forward or not do it.
It's true.
Mm.
But sometimes, I guess for me, it's always looking at the, it's not even the risk analysis. It's understanding
Well, yeah, but
causality.
you could just call it win or learn. So
Yeah.
like you either did it and you overcame a comfort zone issue,
Sure.
and now you won that comfort zone,
Yep.
and now your comfort zone's wider.
Yeah.
Or you learned like, damn, I'm not doing that. That's out of my. I don't even plan to do that. So you learned something.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing I would add to it is too many people make it a binary club based.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
part of our tribe decision making, and that's the stupid shit. Like, you know what? At the end of the day, if somebody does it, celebrate it. If somebody doesn't, celebrate it. Because
Right.
the reality of it is,
They're
none
safe.
of it actually matters,
No.
and you have no clue on the other side of the scenario. That said, I will say where you should get called out is if you're quote, if you're a mountain biker and you don't get on your mountain bike, you should get called out for that.
I agree.
I think that's fair.
That is fair.
That's zero risk.
Yeah, you just got to get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the lowest risk.
Quit talking about it and be about it.
Right.
Everybody's a mountain biker until it's time to do mountain bike shit.
That's the deal, boy. He says that a lot.
I do, man, because it's frustrating.
That's an old broken coach record.
All right. So Will Keener, what's your pre-ride thoughts? I wrote this down because I was like, oh, this is a good one. What's your pre-ride thoughts? He's multiple questions, so we'll go ahead with this one. Pre-ride, I guess it depends on what I'm doing. If it's a training ride, my pre-ride's like, let's get this over. If it's not, like, there's nights I can't sleep before a ride because I'm excited about the ride, like, or hanging out with my friends on the ride. Not about a ride. I'm excited for hanging out with my friends, not the ride itself. But it's usually that, like, I'm excited.
Yeah, if I'm doing an endurance ride, not endurance ride, then I'm making sure I have everything prepped. Do I have all my stuff? Did I put my spare tire shit? Do I have all those pieces? Do I have nutrition?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going out to just do a reb ride, that's the problem. I would just be candid. That's the only downside of the reb for me is that I used to have a big pre-ride ritual to get my brain for it. But because when you have access to it 24/7, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But when I go ride somewhere out of town, I will do that. Like when I go ride Oak Mountain by myself, I do get a pre-ride ritual, and I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I have a little plan of what trails, because I don't ride all those trails, so I build a plan. But that's just me. Like I like to have a little bit of a plan. Normally, because my wife's hounding me because she's
How long are you going to be?
Yeah.
So
great question.
That was a great question. The next one is, what moment had you hooked to be on a bike? Like, at what moment do you know, like, hey, this is what I want to do? And I would love to answer that, but even just yesterday, my college roommate messaged me, and he was like, hey, I've been looking at some of these comments, and he's like, dude, bikes have been in your life your whole life. He's like, because when we were in high school, Rad was my favorite movie. It still is probably my favorite movie.
Right.
So like there was a time where he has it on video, and Brian, shout out if you're listening. And if that video ever shows back up, I'll be surprised. But I put a lampshade on my head and literally did every move that Brad did in the movie to the song that was playing on.
Oh, like, Lord.
I was drunk. It was in college.
Brad, if you have that video, Brian, if you have that video.
I don't know. I've never actually seen the video, but I know that he had a camera. So in college, back in our college days, having anything on video is
it's a big deal.
Pretty crazy. So, but yeah, Rad. And then we had a thing called the Ride at Hard Boys, which was my first club that we started. And I'm shouting that out because he said, you won't bring it up on the podcast. And I was like, oh, yes, I will. But I'm not going to tell you what it was or how you got in. But so, yeah, we had shirts even. I've always been a shirt guy, apparently.
Good Lord. I don't know. I'm the same way as Dale. I've always grown up on a bike. Like that was my freedom. I think it still to this day represents freedom. So I get rehooked. If I get a good for right now, my love is a long ride. Like it's not like I love going with my friends, but none of these guys here want to do that. So I'm by myself, which is also great for me. I mean, Dale would, but he complains and won't do it. But I like
I go run instead.
Yeah, the long ride, I love that, and I get that back. And then when we have a good dirt church service, that's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
But even going out of town and for me, watching Dale and Pat when they were riding some of the stuff and I was shooting it, just watching them, they were having fun, but just watching some of that stuff and putting pieces together. And even when we filmed the Ride Beham stuff, it was a blast to watch these people compete. So
Oh no,
I get it from all levels. Like, to me, it's always
the
something
bump and
interesting.
grind stuff, not Ride Beham.
That's what I meant. Fuck them.
No, we'll be
No,
there
they're nice
someday.
guys. We like
we'll
them.
be there. So the
knee
last
jerk,
question,
knee jerk.
the last that's wrong. The last
That's
question,
ham.
that's ham. The last question that Will had was, does pineapple belong on pizza?
100% yes.
I don't know. Pizzas can do whatever. You can put anything on pizza.
Yeah.
Hell, I made a pizza salad yesterday. Listen, because I'm doing the carb shit, but I'm obsessed with pizza. So I made a salad. I put all the pizza toppings I would put on it, and I put ranch dressing mixed with pizza sauce.
No, there you go.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
There's a lot of salt.
Yeah, I like pineapple on pizza because I'm a savory palate. I'm sophisticated. People that don't say that, they're dumpster fires. You're the kind of people that probably like.
You just sit on your throne of pineapple and judge people
and swing. You probably like Ohio Valley pizza.
No,
what a
that's
disgusting
trash.
bunch you are.
It's not Ohio, by the way. Don't put us in that category.
It's Ohio Valley pizza.
Ohio Valley is Tennessee and Kentucky, and no one cares.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is trash. Because
if you guys don't know what it is,
cheese.
it's cold fucking cheese.
Who does that? People that
you're gonna argue pineapple, but I'm gonna have cold cheese.
I wouldn't have any of them. I don't mind pineapple, and I actually the only reason I don't order it is because it's my wife's favorite, and then if she gets it, then she wins, and we don't have her wins in my house.
No, I get it. Actually, if you get pineapple pizza with spicy cupped pepperoni and jalapenos, then you end up with like this whole savory thing. And arguably, pineapple pizza on barbecue pizza is really good because most of the time the barbecue sauce is too sweet. Mm-hmm. Pineapple gives you a little bit of that acid to cut.
Yeah, pineapple. Bacon, chicken, bacon, pineapple pizza.
All day.
Yeah, that's really
I'll
good.
Smash it.
All right, good question, Zang. Thanks, dude. The next one is from Justin Copeland, a local dude here in Mobile. He said, what's our thoughts on 32er wheels?
Oh, I saw that just start to roll out recently.
Yeah, it's been, they've dabbled with it before. And he said it.
I mean, I just saw more traffic about it.
He extended some comments and said it might be more beneficial for tall people and things like that. Here's my opinion. First of all, we are not a tech guys at all when it comes to mountain bike stuff. I don't really understand a lot of it, but I'm tall and I ride, and I want 27.5-inch wheels. Like, I want smaller. Yeah, there's arguments that that's better for tall people, but I want more nimble. I want to be more active on the trail. I feel like 32s would just slow me down a lot. Yeah. Probably not. I probably wouldn't notice it, but maybe I would.
I don't know. Maybe
I don't think that it's the height thing that would be beneficial.
No, maybe just blasting through stuff.
Yeah, just rolling over roots and stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine. I don't know. I'm not anti. Like, to me, it doesn't, because I'm not a tech guy. Like, I don't care. I grew up riding 16-inch.
Yeah.
Whatever they were.
20s, I think.
Yeah, 20s pizza pies.
Yeah,
and then like the fact that when I got back into mountain biking, suddenly they were, because I was on what 26s. I was on 26s when I rode last, and then when I got back in mountain biking, now I'm on. So I get it. I get the idea.
Yeah, it's good.
I just don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's gimmicky to a certain extent. Like,
well, they're always trying to find a way to sell more.
Well, yeah, and exactly. And it's like, I've been riding 29s for a while, and I've had no problems. Yeah. So it's like,
but you can buy accessories for your bike. So if suddenly you switch to 32s, it's a Pokemon concept.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, then, yeah, I get it. Thanks for the question, dude. Eric Hagan, always leaving it.
Lord. Is he hacked again? Because his last
I don't know. His last one was kind of hacky. This one is, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
So Marilyn Manson had ribs removed, and he can't do that.
Is that real? Is that like, all right, so are we breaking news? So we already broke the chemical castration of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this breaking?
Yeah, that's breaking news.
No, that was like a urban myth when we were kids, right? Yeah, I went to the Ozfest, and I remember that happening.
Yeah. Oh, he's terrible. I don't like their music. I never liked their music.
So the Ozfest I went to was the one that had a ride at in Ohio. I don't know if anybody remembers, but so Manson was the one that had to announce it.
That were closed?
That Ozzy wasn't coming.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like, if everybody spits in the air, it'll rain.
Oh,
he said that. Yeah, and at those kind of shows, guess what happens? A bunch of dirtbags.
Let me tell you something. I went to that stupid Louder Than Life festival with Tony. Mm-hmm. We have an episode we talk about, but I went to that festival. You see an amazingly wild bunch of human beings that are just waiting. And
they're all lawyers, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they dress down for the event.
Yeah.
And they said they just this next one, because I did have a good time and I heard some great bands. Architects has now become one of my all-time favorite bands. Would have never heard them. Other people probably have. I hadn't. But this time they're like, oh, and guess who's going to be at Louder Than Life? Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, my
and
God.
you know that's a hard no.
Yeah, that's a juggernaut.
A juggernaut. Well done, Dale. That's a fade no.
Yeah, no. I don't even know enough Jinkos to go to a thing like that.
Oh, my God. I'd rock them. You have some?
No.
Never had Jinkos?
No, I didn't. I actually had a pair of Airwalk jeans back in the day, but that
I
was
remember
probably
those,
the
yeah.
closest.
Oh my God! I had one pair of Jinkos. I fought,
No,
and
my
then,
mom
and then
was-
the legs were destroyed,
Yeah.
and my mom was so pissed. And then there was a dude that hung out with us that had a skirt. It was just one pant leg.
Oh yeah, there was dudes I remember. I can actually picture him right now walking down the hall at school with him. My mom was like staunchly against them, and
I
so
imagine.
I got Lee dungarees and Tommy Hilfiger jeans.
Oh, I
and-
thought she meant she was staunchly against the one-legged jean dudes.
Oh no, just Jinkos. Yeah,
she was protecting you from the Insane Clown Posse.
yeah. And she also bought me a Dr. Dre cassette tape that was completely bleeped out. Can you imagine that? The Chronic, the first one, with
They
no
made a
cuss words.
censored version of that.
It was the worst thing.
Do you
ever.
have it?
I don't think I do.
It's probably rare.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was, you can't even hear anything. They didn't send, like, it wasn't the new age where it's literally beeps.
What? That's even better.
It was the worst.
Oh man, somebody find that.
So when it
That's
first
an
came
eBay.
out, my mom was at the On Q or wherever it was that she was buying it, and she went in that because that's what I asked for my birthday, and the guys were like, "Oh no, yeah, that's really, really explicit." And back then, that was like when that was new, and my mom was like, "Nope." So she naively.
By the way, quick tip: parental advisory was put on there by Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore, I was going to say,
who was a Democrat.
Also, Al Gore started the internet.
Facts. Okay, back to it.
So she naively was like, okay, I'm not going to buy him the cassette because I don't want the explicit. So she bought me the poster. Cool, Mom. Thank you. Now I have a picture of a Chronic, a weed leaf on my wall.
Yeah, boy.
That was so naively dumb that she didn't even realize it.
Oh, I have hopefully my mom doesn't. My
mom's probably listening to this and doesn't even remember she did that. She did it.
Your mom's a delight. She's a treat. My mom may not listen to this episode. If she does, she's gonna be pissed because she hates the story. I had there was a record label that came out called Tooth and Nail Records, and they were Christian. It was a Christian label, but it was hardcore. Like it was straight up hardcore punk. Like it was as screamy, edgy, legitimate. It was all like this whole movement of people. MXPX was on there, although they're not hardcore. They were pop punk, but there was 90 Pound Wuss. It's just like straight screamy stuff. My mom went into my room and listened to a bunch of different things and then threw away all the Christian stuff and let me keep all the satanic stuff. She hates that story, but she because she was like, this is all evil music. And she threw away the wrong shit.
Oh man.
Which is probably why Helmet means so, because they made it. Helmet made it all the way through, not that they were that bad.
I think that's probably towards the tail end of that 80s, like satanic ritual stuff that was on the news like crazy.
D&D to my mom was like, that's the devil's stuff. And KISS stood for Knights in Satan's Service. And I wasn't a KISS fan anyway, but it was but that's what was propagating in the church, which is where my mom was hanging out.
Right.
So I get it.
Terrible place to hang out.
You were, she went woke. I went broke.
She could have gone to Dirt Church.
She could have gone to DC, boy.
All right. So, we got a question from Nixon. Well, we haven't given Nixon any shout outs for a while. So I think he was feeling a little sad. He's a little down that we haven't been talking about bikes for very much.
Why? Nixon is the guy that could talk about everything, but you could have we said Nixon could have a whole podcast in which he just travels around and it's Nixon and he just shows up and random shit comes out of his mouth.
I know. And he just wants to talk about bikes.
Yeah.
He just wants he doesn't want to talk about, he wants to hear us talk about bikes. Cause I think that he just secretively makes fun of us the whole
100%.
time about how wrong we are about everything we say.
But then he does it. Now he's gotten more pleasant. I miss the pissy Nixon. I miss piss Nixon.
You miss Watergate Nixon?
Watergate Nixon. Yes.
Oh, well,
Nixon's
actual real question was, when are we going to come to Tally? And actually he said that he started the rumor that we're coming to Tally. Or he heard a rumor, but then he said, I think I might have started it.
Oh, that's great.
We have always had it on our schedule. It just has never worked for some silly reason.
It's 3.5 away?
Maybe not even that.
I think we just need to find, we got to go south before we go north. Mm-hmm. We got to go to where it's cooler. I don't know, Nixon. That's a good question, man. Maybe I can figure that out.
Yeah, we might be able to swing that.
Because I could make an argument to drop off. I can make a cold pitch to. I could drop off the deck that's focused on education.
Oh, okay.
And I can just be like, well, the company needs to pay for it.
I'm
and then
good.
you just ride along.
Yeah, I'm good.
Dale keeps me awake. That's it. Don't Chase. Stop. Chase right now. Let me look at the camera for you, Chase. Chase, stop your truck. Pull up your phone. Look at me. Stop.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. But I think if all we had a lot of questions about when are we coming to see who this, that, there. If he wants to come, get us jobs.
Yeah, that's it.
Or get Drew a job, and then I'll just.
I think Dale
along.
gets to hold things.
That's
He's
right.
grip. Yeah. Look. The reality of it is, that's the kind of the purpose of Jank Fest is to get as many people as we can together, because it is tricky for us sometimes to get out there, and those that are more mobile can get up here. I get it. We all have busy lives and schedules, always that. But if we can do it, look, another great place. The best argument I can make is Bump and Grind. I think Bump and Grind is a fantastic reunion spot. And even if you're not going to race, who cares? It's fun as shit to watch the races. So like you have an opportunity to go hang out. And the last time I went, I didn't go this past when I was out of town, but the last time that I went, we ended up having some of the greatest and completely sober, stone sober hilarity that will never leave me. And it's probably a deathbed thought, because I'll just be laughing about the stupid bag of Skittles and all the junk food that they had. And Todd with the Piggly Wiggly feet and Steakums. My God, so much happened on that.
The
And
Stranger
none
Things
of it was
pizza.
drunk. And Stranger, yeah. And nobody was inebriated because it was the night before the race.
No, it was the day of.
It was the
when
day
we were
of
so tired.
Oh, that's right. It was the day of the race. Nobody was inebriated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just fun. So
it was good, clean fun. Rare in
that's
our
what I'm
world.
saying. Good times.
Well,
I'm not eating at that Mexican restaurant everybody goes to, though. Somebody got sick.
Yeah, I'm not
doing it.
I had better luck with Stranger Things pizza.
Man, I had Mexican a couple days ago, and it was good. It wasn't crazy. I had one taco and a sope. And I mean, that stuff was like living with me for a long time. And I like it, but I don't need that after a day of being sweaty and gross. I just don't.
If anybody wants a quick food recommendation, and you're sitting around bored and you need some food quick,
taco salad.
No, Motor City frozen pizza.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fire.
Dude, just roll on over to Walmart or wherever sells frozen pizzas.
It's legit.
It's really
fire.
good,
Yeah.
dude.
I like that in the Screaming Sicilian is the brand. Is the one pot, but that one with the little, it comes with a little paper mustache.
Yeah.
If you cook it right, it's good. If you undercook it slightly, it's garbage. The Detroit, you can undercook it. And it's still
the
good.
Motor City one comes in
is,
its own. You just put it. You don't even need a pan.
Yeah,
you just put it in the oven.
But it is. Let's be honest. It's not keto.
No. No.
It's so far from healthy, but delicious.
I know. We're withering away to nothing over here. All we think about is food.
Well, I mean, that's what we got.
I know. I'm going to baseball practice.
I'm gonna practice nothing.
So yeah, we hope everybody sticks around. We're
still gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway. It's actually our therapy.
A little bit. All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. We don't have to end the same way anymore. We can just do this.